We just gonna rock with it.
Hey
We
man, we
just
gotta
gonna
do
rock
what we
with
gotta
it.
do, bro. We
Yeah.
gotta do what we gotta do.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, and good night for everyone across the world. You're watching John Skywalker at the moment, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and father. Welcome to the show, Things People Don't Want to Talk About. I'm joined by my co-host, King Newborn.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. This King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platform at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am. Also want to say welcome if it's your first time tuning in to God Level. Like again it said, this is Master John Skywalker, co-host, and then this is King Newborn, co-host. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Just a quick handout for our listeners who regularly attend the show. Sister is taking a hiatus, so we're going to be flying. Um,
No, where did he go? John, where are you at? What is going on? Let me see if I can get John back on here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We are having technical difficulties. Let's see. Um, there you go. Up, I can't hear your audio, big dog. There he is.
that Mercury retrograde on the show. It's the Mercury retrograde. Anyways, yeah, just where was I at? Yeah, God level. Our sister God level was I'm taking a short hiatus. She'll be joining us likely next week, the week after. So
Facts.
these next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about Black mental health, right? Because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and today's segment is focused on PTSD within the scope of Black men's mental health, right? So, for those who don't know, PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder, right? And we're speaking about this as it applies to all men, but there is special emphasis on Black men and PTSD because this is definitely something we don't talk about. It's out there in the culture, right? And it's starting to become more popularized now. We've had hints of it, we kind of understand it, but we don't really have conversations about it. And I think this one is out of all the mental illnesses that are out there, we have personality disorders, bipolar disorders, ADHD, depression. Out of all mental disorders that are out there, PTSD affects us the most. So that's why I felt like it was important for us to touch on this. There's a higher likelihood of Black men having PTSD compared to any other mental illness. Now, that's not to say you can't develop depression, bipolar disorder, generalized anxiety, have a phobia. It's not to say that, but we're gonna heavily. You have any opening thoughts on the subject?
I want to say that, I just want to add to what you were saying that, you know, if you never took the time out just to understand what PTSD really is, we're gonna try to highlight as much as we can based off of inform- information that we hmm, information that we have researched. So, so that hopefully we can help those that might never self-diagnose, can maybe look at some of the traits, triggers, or some of the things that should have. I mean, I should some of the things that have been going on in their life, and it don't also just a key note. It don't necessarily mean that this is associated. This is associated with vetting. I mean, vets. Uh, and we don't have that note. vets. So this is something that can be a traumatic thing. That go ahead. What you finna say?
I'll say that I do want to put the number out there for anybody PTSD. And also a caveat: we are not mental health professionals. So
Facts,
for
facts,
these
facts.
next four discussions, I just want to emphasize we're just raising awareness. It is mental awareness month. But anybody out there that wants to talk about their experiences with PTSD, preferably if you're a man, and girlfriends if you're a black man, the number is 229-234-0114. That is 229-234-0114.
Can you post that real quick, John?
Yeah,
Can you post
let
that
me
real quick?
post. Let's see. Oh yeah, she got it. All right, cool.
She put it up.
I can post it from right here.
Yeah.
But carry on, bro.
What was that number? Dang, I can't find the number. It's not showing up on my Facebook. What is going on? Today,
No, no.
not today, man. Yeah. What is
Mercury retrograde.
Is this to keep us on our ones and twos and our toes? Okay, I see it now. I see it now. 229-023.
Not the second, the second one. Yeah,
It's a
that zero should be in
my
there.
bad, my bad.
Yeah. 229-234-0114.
Okay, you already put it up. Okay. All right, I'm sorry about that, bro. All right.
Yeah, you're good. We're trying to make it happen. There's a little bit of disturbance and resistance to the force, but that's all right.
Yeah. So we glad that y'all tuning in anyway. For those that are watching in silent, please take the time out to leave a comment. Also, try to subscribe to each one of our channels. Again, this is National Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're trying, like I say, bring awareness to the community. Also, the purpose of this channel is to talk about things that people don't want to talk about. And you have a lot of men that try to be strong but suffer in silence. So hopefully that this could be a somewhat of a tool that could help brothers or just people in general, male and female, within the community, have a way to reach out to have themselves checked out to check out to make sure that they seek help. You know, like John said before, we're not experts. We're just can I say advocates, John?
Yeah, we
We're
are
advocates
mental
of
health advocates. Yes.
mental health advocates. Healing and help is very, very, very necessary. And sometimes we don't even know we need help because we've been operating in a dysfunctional situation for so long. So, what you
Mhm.
got, John? What's next? What we on?
Yes. To that point, yes, black men have been humbled. We have this weight on our shoulders, and the stress comes from uh, every direction on a daily basis. The impact of walking down the street in your own neighborhood can be traumatic in itself. And we're not just talking about black men; we're talking about black women. So, if that's the type of neighborhood that you reside in, environment, you don't know who to trust. And again, one of the core features of post-traumatic stress disorders is the trauma. And the thing to understand about trauma.
Oh, John, you left again. Hold on, y'all. We trying to get him back on her. We haven't. We have tip. There you go. There you go, John.
Oh my gosh, man! Here it is. Man! Oh man! Come on, Mercury! Come on, Mercury! Um, so one thing that we have to really heavily consider is when someone has a traumatic event, what is happening to the person currently, and the core ingredient here is the anxiety and the fear that is associated with a traumatic event. sounds off the alarm. This is wrong. Something's wrong. Danger, danger, danger. You come across an event, and the thing is, we encounter stress all the time, right? But
Facts.
this single event is so overwhelming as to raise the senses, makes you hyper aroused, right? Fight or flight, freeze mechanism, and things that kick in, and you act in dysfunctional ways. Now, after that event, we tend to adapt, right? We're very adaptive people. We're very adaptive creatures. Um, the thing is, with it being highly stressful and highly dangerous, you don't know how a person's going to adapt, how they're going to recover from that, right? And for men, to keep things quiet, especially when you consider the environment that we're nurtured in. And then on top of our culture, there's certain things that we can't speak about. You know, there's things like, be a man. That's the model that we champion a lot, right? It has a lot of us suffering in silence, like you were saying. And this also leaves us underreporting our symptoms. So even the statistics in terms of the prevalence is understated, right? So let's really try to get into the portrait of that might like. It's just like any other disease or any other physical disease. Left untreated, what do we expect to happen?
Mm.
Left untreated, you get a cut, you get a bone, you get a bruise, you got a puncture in one of your organs, you got some brain damage. What do we expect to happen if there's treatment here? If there's no strategy to restore harmony in the body? Because trauma creates disharmony, it's disruptive. So what do we expect to that person? This is an invisible wound, right? And wrapped in both positive and negative ways. Trauma can be there is such a growth, but for a black man, oh my gosh, it's like a robot. Shit. Oh man.
We rolling with it, baby. We roll.
Oh man, they doing this to me, man. They don't want me to be great.
Yeah, that part.
Oh man. All right. Okay, we're pushing disharmony, right? Body seeks to restore balance and trying to heal, right? Trying to heal. But in order to heal, you gotta establish the conditions for healing, right? So just think about a plant. It's often because of the conditions it was placed under. You change the conditions, you change the outcomes, right?
Fact.
And of course,
Fact.
the conditions are both personal and environmental. So you can't just say, all right, the environment is responsible for my personal health.
Right.
Right? As a man, it's not just the environment. You also develop the capacity to think about yourself, to self-mend, right? And so, yeah, self-medicate. You cope with according to what's in the environment. So it might be drinking for black men, it might be gambling, it might be drugs, cocaine, weed. I mean, it's really heavy with weed.
Big
Drinking,
time. Big
right?
time. Yes. Yes.
So you take that, and then also a variable of black men not being in the space to be a lot of the times, and that causes us to abandon ourselves, right? So because of this, that we will form trauma bonds. Now, again, people typically recover from stressful situations, right? Despite the adjustments and traumatic events can be so powerful that it sort of bullies the brain into rewiring itself. And so we end up producing maladaptive behaviors. We produce these negative behaviors, this destructive behavior, this toxic behavior. We're hurt. We're hurting inside. And the hurt manifests different ways. For some of us, we avoid. We avoid people, we avoid situations that's associated with it. We
Yeah.
We avoid love. We avoid help. We avoid people that look like us because perhaps the traumatic event was associated with somebody that looks like us. You know, the black boy who sees a black man being on his mother
Right.
and he starts developing this distrust for black men, right? Being another black man, another black man, right? How does that influence your relationship with other black men? How does it influence the relationship you have with yourself, right? I want to take a step back. There is diagnostic for PTSD. So I want to caution men out there um, to avoid self-diagnosing, right? But there are criteria. So if you have a suspicion that you have PTSD, you need professional psychiatric evaluation, all right? Because they have a criteria to look for. They're experts in it. So try not to self-diagnose. But PTSD falls into primarily, I think it's 7 categories or 7 criteria. So first, there's the stressor. You gotta have stressor. And stressor usually involves contact with something that's threatening or that brings you closer to death. It could be fatal. It could be serious injury. It could be the fact that you got shot. Man,
Whoa.
imagine that.
I
Right?
can't.
Little
About that.
Little Wayne. Remember that story about Little Wayne when he got shot?
Yeah.
He was a baby, man. Well, not a baby, but you know,
What,
he
he's
was a
like
child.
13,
Yeah,
12?
yeah. And you know, there's videos circulate that, right? And you know, this man went through that experience, and even though his life saved, he had to live with that. There was no counseling, there was no hey, man, you good. And he spoke on that, right? So stressor. Then there's criterion B, which is intrusion. Right? So we're talking about flashbacks, re-experiencing the event, memories, nightmares. I know some brothers out there, man, they have nightmares about, you know, being killed, about dying, and you know, it's like every other night, or maybe it's once a week, right? And then, in fact, here's a perfect example for those who really need to put it in perspective, right? Let's take racial. Let's start there, right? What does it look like? It's seeing repeated videos of police killing people who look like you. It's hearing people in the community being more concerned with property and lives, right? And then, of course, hearing those same people say all lives matter. Even if it's true, it's the context of a simply racially motivated event, right?
Here we go again. Yo, yo, yo. What is happening? This is crazy. Mm. Forgive us for these technical difficulties. This is crazy. John, where you go? Let's see if we can get him back on here. Hold on, everybody. We're trying to get him back on here. And it will pick today of all days to be acting crazy. Okay. Hold on. We finna. Wait a minute. See if we can get him pulled back up here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Man. See, we need an engineer. We need an engineer. That's not funny, but we need an engineer. Let me see. Let me see. What is going on? Let me see if I can get it. He was breaking it down and technical support. Right, ma. Right, ma. We definitely need technical support. But one of my hold on, I have some luck here. One of the things for as me as a trauma, I'm gonna speak on mental health. As a child, growing up in the projects, um, keep going. Growing up in the projects, growing up in the projects was not fun. Was not a happy times all the times. Granted, playing outside as a child, but in my younger years as a child, like let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, it was a lot of things. There we go. There he is.
Hey, yeah, it sounds like you want to play, man.
No, I just wanted to say, like dealing with PTSD, you're not looking at it from a child's perspective because no one ever took the time out to explain to me as a child that you will come across certain traumas that affect you later on in years. Sometimes being overexposed to a lot of things too early can affect you later on. It would desensitize you in a way to where it would desensitize you to where you have no type of feeling or emotion when it comes to certain things in life. At one point, I kind of tried to explain to my grandma early on that actually heading to school early in the morning now, heading to school, I actually had to step over a body in the hallway going down the steps on the way to school. So, not knowing what was going on or what happened, that was my first real encounter of a body lifeless. Um, and like for the whole day of school, like I didn't know how to rationalize that. I didn't know how to put that together, as in like, was they dead? I mean, I know I saw blood, but like, was they dead? Well, they weren't moving, wasn't breathing, and I knew that I didn't want to get a whooping for not going to school. So it was like, let me hurry up so I can get to school or whatnot. Um, but that was my first encounter, and after that, coming home from school, the body wasn't there no more. You had like somewhat of a stain left on the ground, and I was always wondering what happened to that man. Like, what did he go through to the point where he was laying on the ground? Like, what was happening at that particular point? Now, I do remember gunshots earlier in the morning. I think it was a little bit after my grandmother had left. So, like in my mind, like, what if she arrived at the same time the situation was taking place? So it's a lot of things that plague my mind from a child all the way up to the point where gets to a point where things don't even bother you no more. Like you get to introduced to a lot of things as a kid you shouldn't even be seeing for real, and it desensitizes you, and it make you feel a particular way. Reason why I say that that gunshot, and then also, okay, he's gone again. That gunshot, then also, I remember like it was yesterday. Like I can hear it right now, the loudest scream in the world because of a knock that was at the door to actually let my grandmother know and my uncle, my auntie know that they found my mom. I'm not trying to jump around, just trying to show you the correlation of traumas as a kid that affect you later on, to where you do become, I guess you could say, in my case, it got to a point where I was insensitive about certain emotions and feelings that I bottled in. But those gunshots was about as loud as that knock on the door when the police came to let my mother know, my grandmother know, that they found my mom's body. And I mean, you talking about, like, I'm a little, I'm a shorty, you know what I'm saying? And that really affected me, because, like, after that knock at the door, they opened the door, it's the police. And my mom had already been missing for a while. So the conversation that was had, they had closed the door and they told me to go back in the house and close the door. I say maybe not even a hot minute. You just heard like the loudest screeching scream ever, and it was my grandmother crying. And it, like, it kind of like, I can't explain. It's like I kind of got stuck, like I couldn't move for real. And then next thing you know, I'm screaming because, like, what happened? So I try to go to the door to see what's going on, and that's when I see everybody, just crying, hugged up, and everything. And I think my uncle grabbed me first, and from that, plus walking over a dead body, plus several gunshots over and over and over and over and over, it it just came a norm. Like it was just a regular everyday thing. You got people getting shot, you got people getting robbed, people getting killed, police showing up every day. Like, this is constant. I'm still a kid.
Mm.
I ain't even 10 yet. And I'm saying this every day. You constantly, you in the house, you laying down, but you see the lights flashing around everything inside the house. And even sometimes, when you do hear so many gunshots go off, it's like get down on the ground, because it has been people that was in the projects on the south side. This is in St. Louis, Missouri. Um, Peabody, Doris Webby. Um, People have been getting shot in their house just watching TV. They ain't got nothing to do with the criminal world that's on the outside, but just being in the house watching TV. Like, is that how life's supposed to be? To where it's one thing that I'm on the, what floor was we on? I think we was on the sixth floor at the time. Yeah, I think we was on the sixth floor at the time. But even being on the sixth floor in a what was it, a 14-story high rise,
Mm.
I still gotta get on the floor. I mean, bullets gonna go through whatever they gonna go through, but I still gotta get on the floor. But from that, as I got older, you can almost say because of that, I got turned on to street activity, because it was a norm. It was like it was regular. It was everywhere. I done seen people get jumped. I done seen a man get knocked out. I'm playing basketball. This was at a school called Holy Going Angels Academy. I was just playing basketball. I think I was in the fifth grade playing basketball. I go to shoot my free throw, and the man walk up yelling to another man, and I'm talking, he just flatlined him. Man hit the ground real hard, laid there for a couple seconds. Dude walk off. Dude come back and pick him up like everything was good. I just knocked you out. Now I'm helping you. And like John just said, I'm not tripping off the fact that it's black on black crime. That never
Mm.
enters my mind. What enters my mind that a man just got knocked out. I'm not associated with the fact that it's a brother knocking out another brother, or per se that this man that was injured in the hallway. I couldn't blame it on saying that it was a white on black crime. It was a black on black crime for whatever the reason was, whether it was money, drugs, or just the wrong conversation between two adult males or teenager males that happen to have pistols and had it out. So
Mm.
you never, now I mean, like I say, as a child, you like, man, this is crazy, this world. But then as I got older, it was like the only way. This the crazy part. The only way to almost be safe is to become that in which your environment is. And that's crazy. Nobody never think that, okay, in order to be amongst the lions, I gotta be a lion. In order to be amongst the beasts, I gotta be a beast. In order to be amongst the criminals, I gotta be somewhat a criminal as well. In order just to be safe to move amongst them, to get to where I'm going.
Mm.
So it's like, man, it's everywhere. And at that particular point, you got to be tough. You can't be crying about nothing. You can't be, because the moment they sense weakness or fear in you, it's all bad. They gonna eat you up.
That's interesting too. That part about that is great, and then having to become a part of laziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something black people black people in general don't want to be called crazy, right? But even a special case when someone calls you crazy and you're a black man hearing that, right? And this is within the context of mental health. It's different when a woman says, "Boy, you're so crazy," right?
Right.
But then there's a bit of stoicism, I guess, when that nigga crazy. No one wants to be looked crazy, and it's like a form of gaslighting, because not that I'm crazy per se, but I've been affected by crazy. Crazy, it's infectious. Craziness is infectious, yo. So it's almost like this gaslighting term. And black men don't want to be this crazy, and therefore, even if there's some craziness going on, we want to dissociate ourselves from that craziness. So if in order to heal that craziness, to tame that craziness, to respond to that craziness with love, if it came down to that, in order for us to get a solution, you got to first acknowledge there's a problem. In order for you to heal that craziness, you got to acknowledge that there is some craziness going on. And we don't want to associate ourselves with it.
And you know what? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, John. Just to add to what you're saying. So let's take what based off of an experience I done had and the technical information that John has added to that. Let's take, you don't want to be associated with the craziness, but because the craziness holds so much power from a fear standpoint, it's highly respected because you don't want craziness to flip out in your direction. Now, here's the spin of this. Instead of having respect because of the power within the man to hold himself upright with prudence, respect, love, honor within, and loyalty within the community, he's more likely to be respected from a crazy standpoint by the women that he might even rob, rape, kill, sell. You understand what I'm saying? Just to get some type of respect because he associate that as power by constantly keeping people in fear. And that's one thing that I understand. Which one do you want most? You want to be feared or you want to be loved? And you want to be loved because if you're feared at some point, your head will get knocked off. Like it will happen. So that's I don't know. It's just kind of crazy because you want a woman next to you not to fear you. You want her to almost want to be like the extension or the external version of yourself, to where you be able to move forward together in society. But if she be looking like, girl, he crazy, just leave him alone. I need child, because once he go there, he gone. Ain't no coming back. He understands ultimate annihilation of everything and everybody that's in his path, and that's no place that you want to grow. But he ain't even understanding he operating out of a society that he grew up in. This is all that he knows. And like John said, until you decide to understand, like, yo, I need help. This is not a norm. But you grew up in the field. That's all you know. Just like you got some young men that come from well groomed home fronts and they go off to the army, but not knowing that they finna be drafted. And they get sent to unknown land to where they can't even, like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on back to the crib. No sir, none of that. You got your paperwork. Gotta go. You been deployed. Front line. Let's get it. over there just tearing up stuff. You seeing women, children, people of all ages just getting killed and slaughtered for one objective. As a matter of fact, this objective ain't even got nothing to do with you, but you're sent here. You're sent here to push forward the objective. Now, when you come back home stateside, you
Mm-hmm. The
anyway,
memories.
man, look, anything can happen, and let me be the first to tell you. Um, Even when we watch little skits, little 7 minute little news clippings of shootouts and shootings on YouTube, Facebook, World Star, and things like that. It's one thing to actually see it. If you ain't ever been shot at and you had to shoot back,
Mm-hmm.
it brings about a fear in you that you either gonna fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a person that has been shot at 9 times with a 45, I got hit twice on my arm and my back. To be in a sitting position to where I can't move, and anybody know, anytime you have a shootout, you almost kind of want to be on high ground to shoot down. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to say I know all that like that, but I'm just saying. In this particular point, I was in a aluminum Z34, and they was in a pickup truck, a Z71 pickup truck. They pulled up on the side of me, and they just unloaded. And for the like of me, I'm not even understanding what's happening, but be that close to a 45 going off, it sounds like an M80. So from that first boom, once again, it takes me all the way back to my childhood, being in the projects. I'm like, this is active. This is real. This is in real time happening right now. And it's just constantly going on, boom, 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 boom. And out of habit, I'm reaching for what I even are right now. The one thing that I used to always keep on me, I didn't even
Oh,
have it at the time to return fire. And I felt so helpless, so helpless. So I went from a trauma to a new trauma, the fear of not
mm-hmm.
having control,
Mm-hmm.
to being to the point mentally where my brain was like, yo, I'd rather get hit right now because we can't prevent anything. See, when you hand to hand in combat, at least you can kind of block something. But when you got metal flying at you, you can't stop that. When you hearing stuff go like past your head and things of this nature, you can't control that. And that was something that helped me really understand the only thing I can control is my decisions, my choices, and my executions. Based off my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Anything outside of that, I can't control. I can't control. It was a message the other day that says that sometimes we listen to just to reply. We don't listen to take in the data nor the information or the knowledge to assess and come with the highest possible understanding of how do we come about a solution, a sound solution. We don't do that. We just want to reply. We just want to respond. We need to be taking in the action of taking in the information. But my point of saying all that is that that was a scary situation for me. And I went from one trauma to the next. So now I have compound interest on a
Yeah.
trauma. So to be insensitive in most situations when I'm talking to people, and they may make you feel like you just don't give a damn. No, it's not that. I'm realizing that I've been robbed of that long, long time ago as a child.
Damn.
So you try to tell me that I'm supposed to feel a particular way, feelings has no existence in reality. When you have certain things going on, the reality don't care about how you feel. Name me a time you heard about a tornado and the tornado said, "Let me just stop because you here."
Damn. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? A tornado don't care about none of that. It's coming through. It's gonna do what it's been designed to do. Period. And you have to respect that. Period. That's why you see animals coming from the south. Okay, we're gonna go northeast. We're finna get as far as where we can from here. In my particular case, I never understood that, for a long time, I was being very insensitive when I came to my conclusions in certain conversations. Like I wasn't showing the compassionate side to actually take in what was being said. I'm just looking at, all right, shit, all right, now what? Okay, and what I've been through, what I had to endure, but it wasn't about me at that time, you know. So I had to learn how to engage in conversations to take in the other person's understanding of what they're going through. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that I have to stay strong within it, but I do have to take in considerations the other person's feeling of what they're going through. I mean, I'm not trying to jump off subject and everything, but it all ties in together. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
No, I was gonna say it sounds like you were emotional. What do you think?
Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No. That's exactly what it was.
yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And because of that, I used to stand so heavily on some being negative and positive, right and wrong. Okay, give a fuck, don't give a fuck.
Mm.
That it took me a long time to arrive to a point of peace,
Oh,
because it's not the negative or the positive, the right, the wrong, the hurt,
it's the
the
extreme, like extremes, right? Before you could get to that, yeah.
yeah.
Do you would you say you were emotionally numb after those incidents?
Oh,
Like,
big time. Yeah, because look, check this out. So 2 days, let's say after being shot, a solid 4 to 5 days, I was back at work. Like ain't nothing happened.
yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's okay. Let me break this down to you. So for anybody that is on here watching this and you're from St. Louis, Missouri, you know about the street Newstead and Natural Bridge. Right there, Newstead and Natural Bridge. It's a plaza right there, and it used to be an emos that sat on the corner. Where I got shot at is right across the street. Right across the street. It was a bank over there on Newstead heading towards Lexington. I literally was leaving from Emos because I used to work at Emos. Now I'm talking about this is almost like 4 or 5 days later. I'm right back at work as if ain't nothing happened to me, trying to go about my regular day. Like, it's a part of life. Hey, what I'm supposed to do? I got hit, but I'm still here. Now the crazy part about that, I could have died that night had I not pulled over. I was gonna try to drive straight to the hospital, but my arm went numb, and the bullet missed my lung by a hair fraction. So I'm just leaking at this particular point and not even knowing, because when you get hit with a, like, man, I'm leaking. I ain't even trying to go off into all that, but just the thought process of that like literally all I was thinking about, let me get back to the money, let me get back to work, and let me get back to doing what I was already doing. Like, okay, like I just fell and got a scratch on me. Nah, internally you still gotta heal. Like they took this long plastic tube about 8 inches and they stuck it in me to make sure that the wound was clean, and make sure they had no fragments or nothing in there, and they flushed it out several times. And that was the worst feeling in the world, to know somebody could take a tube, feed it in your back to make sure you don't have any debris in there that can
mm,
literally just go ahead and tear your lung open. Now, you know what I'm saying, I'll be bleeding internally in my lungs and I could just die right there in the hospital. It was, I don't know, it was crazy though, but you just never tie all that in together. So I mean, just as well you got people to go afar for a war. It's a war already going on in a lot of these poverty-stricken areas where you can't really come up because you turn out to be food for everybody else. So whether it's the dope game or sex trafficking, prostitution, and like as a kid, you ain't supposed to know about all that stuff, man. Like, I don't know.
mm.
I can go for days about this, but John, the point I'm making is I'm at work working. I had somebody to stop me, like, yo, you can't even be in here. You bleeding, bro. Like, oh, I know I ain't. And shirt wet. So I had to go home. They was like, come back when you heal, man. Just take some time to get healing.
Damn,
You know what I'm saying? I ain't know nothing else, John. That's all I know is to go to work. All I know how to take care of me. All I got is me. You understand what I'm saying?
damn, yeah, dang. Even
That
that
was
that part about go get help, go heal yourself, take care of
yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
and your response is, I
Let me
gotta
get
go.
back to work. Real talk, bro. They
Man.
looking at me like, what you think you the Terminator? Go sit down, man. Go heal.
You know, the point that you kind of highlighted there too about the tornado and your feelings. It's kind of like that's almost a metaphor for how the American judicial system, economic system, political system that black people sometimes, especially black men, when they're wounded, right? So racism, right?
Mm.
Institutionalized racism is essentially the tornado saying, fuck your feelings. We're saying you should care about our feelings. But then in the same breath, we can care about our own feelings.
True that.
Because again, you went through this triggering event, this very high intensity event, and you don't care about your feelings enough to say, yo, let me process this. It's no, I gotta adapt and return back to normalcy now. I can't take a break. I can't stop grinding. I can't stop hustling. Hustle culture, right?
Yep.
It also kind of brings me to the care aspect, but there's an episode. I don't know if you watch Dear White People on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you remember Reggie?
Okay, yeah.
The party, right? So for those of you out there that don't know, there's a show called Dear White People, and Reggie is a black male at the college, and he's in this extremely mild confrontation with this white guy because he said the N-word in a song. They were all dancing now. He said that, and Reggie, he confronts him, and they're going back and forth about it. And then the campus police arrive, and they aim the gun. One of them aims the gun at Reggie and not the other guy, automatically. And he demands Reggie show his student ID. And no officer was wounded after what they did to that man. Now, he's still a teenager, yo. He's in college, right? Like, I remember the show. At this point in time, he's a teenager, like a late young adult in college. Someone pulls a gun out on you, and you weren't even at fault. You didn't cause the threat, right? And
right.
As a result of that, Reggie starts to suffer from like hallucinations. He's replaying the event in his mind. The school mandates him to go to counseling because of the altercation. But Reggie doesn't get the help that he deserves. I believe reached out to some university friends and leaders, and he ends up pushing them away. But it really comes out that he's not really to deal with his mental health because he's frustrated with being in the situation in the first fucking place.
In the first place, yeah.
And so he starts to negatively cope. He was drinking and he was smoking weed. But also very interesting, bro. And again, this is alluding to your point about, people noticing that you're wounded and saying, get some help. His friends didn't know how to help. Why do you think that is? Given the situation and who he is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he represents that episode, that dynamic of the show represents something about our family, our community, and our culture. When a black man needs help, do you know how to help him?
Exactly.
Do you know how to help him?
The crazy part of what you're saying, bro, and I look back on this because it hit me one day. Even if somebody did know how to help me, ain't nobody gonna speak up and say nothing because it's too few in between to say like, dang, if I do tell them what to do to get help, I'm telling on myself that I actually needed help and I'm supposed to be a man myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's hurtful, man. You know what I mean? Like a brother could see you in pain, be like, man, I really want to. I'm out myself by saying, hey, yo, hey, call this number, call this number, and you. No, no,
Mhm.
I heard through the great. No, no, I ain't got nothing to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's sad though. It's really sad. But like you said, based off society, a man, and I hate to say it, what I have to say is because I am a black man, a melanated man, a man of darker shaded pigment, that we are looked at as we're supposed to endure any type of trauma, period. Whether it's from the world, whether it's from our parents, whether it's from our friends, whether it's from our confidant, our lover, girlfriend, wife, the job, um, even from even having a bad credit score. And you just supposed to take this because this just what it's supposed to be. And like you just said, John, when a black man actually want to pull himself up out the bullshit, well, who who do I run to? Who do I turn to? Like, name me a lot of programs out there for brothers right now.
Well, I know there's one Black Man Hill. I know there's that one. I know Chicago's got a few of them out there. There's few programs out there, man. They're out there, but it's kind of to the point of our institutional awareness of this stuff. This is the stuff that we talk about
Facts.
in our households. So if you don't discuss it in your household, you're definitely not gonna discuss it in your peer groups. You ain't gonna discuss it with the gang because it's just not a thing. It's a thing you're supposed to stay away from. So if you don't discuss it at the home with the family, if you don't discuss it amongst the peer group, your schools ain't really gonna talk about it because in a sense it doesn't even seem to apply to you. It just seems like something fine for the other groups. Right. So lack of self-awareness, lack
Mhm.
of social awareness, how to seek treatment, you know. And then I mean, there's a lot of barriers there, man. There's a lot of even when it comes to how like the signs, what to look out for. You know, I hate to say it, but there's two big ones that step out. They're not even institutional. They're not even in where we are not typically introspective. Men in general aren't as introspective as women. We tend to be focused. Now, that's not to say that men cannot be introspective. We do reflect in our thoughts. We are very logical, but to be it means to have a sensitivity to yourself. And black men haven't been conditioned or socialized to be sensitive to themselves. So if you aren't sensitive to yourselves, you don't have access to that information. The information that says, "Hey, I'm hurt, and I think I need to do something about it." The other barrier is our emotional intelligence, the way that we express ourselves emotionally. We're still operating under these these gender roles, and traditional gender roles don't really give us prescriptions, at least for black men. The flavor of traditional black people, right? For black men, we don't really have too many models or cues, guidelines, rules, codes of conduct that help you. Hey, this is how you express that you've been hurt, right? And speaking in generalities, there are initiatives and there are curses being broken, in our community where we are paying more attention to our health and our feelings. We are giving ourselves the self-worth that we deserve, right? We're expressing that, but really acknowledging the cultural barriers, the psychological barriers, for us to acknowledge that something is wrong and that there is something about it. Compared to all other racial categories, us, black men, we die at an earlier age. I mean,
Facts.
it ranks hypertension too. And
Yeah.
hypertension and PTSD have a relationship. They have a strong relationship. Cortisol surging in our bodies. Our
Yeah.
diet,
Stresses.
we
Yeah.
ain't going to the gym, we ain't drinking water, we ain't meditating.
Yeah.
Our stress relief typically include sex and smoking cigarettes.
A lot of drinking.
right? Negative coping strategies, right? Which
Yeah.
is influencing, or rather, is taking away more of our lives, right?
Facts.
So we're just looking at the bigger picture here, the whole trajectory. From childhood, we're not socialized to take care of ourselves. A lot of us aren't. A lot of us aren't socialized to take care of ourselves. We're supposed to figure it out. And then even when we get to a space of more freedom, where, okay, we play from our families, now we got to learn the bullshit from our childhood, and we got to learn to take care of it. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
two competing forces. We have a drive to love ourselves and a drive to hate ourselves that we got
At
from
the
childhood.
same time. At the same time.
Then you're still participating in relationships with other people.
And you
And I can jump all the way back real quick, because you were talking about basically being gang affiliated, right? Like, well, not really gang affiliated, but going off to
but
war, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
that related PT. And me and my homeboy, we talk about this. The army, the military is basically just a game. And right. And so if you're growing up in the projects, you get jumped in, you got loyal to your game. They gonna
yeah.
have you do some, right? And it's
Oh,
usually
oh yeah, hands down.
right. And you're contributing to something that's bigger than yourself, right? And a lot of people don't understand. Some do, but a lot of people don't understand it's not just an easy choice if you don't have that many options, right? Like you gotta
True
look
that.
at their environment, empathize. And you see these niggas over here, they getting money and they confident, they getting the girls, and they seem to have it together. They seem to have it better than, so you like, yo, I want in. And you join them, you connect with them, and that's the brotherhood. You're
Yeah,
supposed to have brotherhood throughout your life, right? That brotherhood helps keep you. I'm my brother's keeper, right? You join that brotherhood and you're willing to do what it takes to maintain the big brotherhood of that social group. And they have you do some wild shit, some crazy shit.
yeah. You
And
got to
then
prove your loyalty. Yeah,
now, comparatively, you think about the police, you think about firefighters, you think about veterans, war veterans. They go out and they're in a combat situation, a traumatic situation. Their leaders know, all right, you to go get some help real quick. We need to make sure you good up here. And you got to clear psyche valve. You return back to duty. Because, hey, you're an asset here. We got to make sure you're good. But when you're in the game, when you with the GDs and the vice lords and shit,
Vice Lords, Bloods, and Crips, and so
yeah,
forth.
when you with them, it's like, yo, hey, we about to go ride on these niggas. What's up? All right, cool, let's do it. And you do that, you complete that mission.
Yeah,
Y'all said it, but there's no recon. There's no, hey, you good though? Hey, to me, like, there's no nurturing after. There's no powwow. And niggas going to sleep with nightmares and shit. They afraid that the ops gonna retaliate, and you get driven further into that darkness.
yeah,
I want that there's a make difference, but they're kind of the same. Men are banded together and they're protecting each other. But sometimes the mission is fucking foul and it's almost suicide mission. You
yeah,
go out there, you serve the clan, you serve the tribe, you serve the organization, you serve the order. But it comes at an expense of your mental health. But the main difference is one has the resources to treat, the other doesn't.
exactly. That's facts.
Like, niggas out here were earning their stripes, but there's something to. There's a little bit of dishonesty there, and especially in hip hop music. There's a little bit of dishonesty there because niggas talk about how easy it is, and they don't talk about the fucking nightmares. They don't
Yeah,
talk about how it affected them. So I say there's a little bit of dishonesty. It's like You killed how you don't rap about that shit.
Yeah, after
Then
the
the kids.
the so many is you desensitized. Like, it don't even exist no more.
Like you
That's crazy. Like, you know what? Not to cut you off, John, but I knew I had a brother used to come to me and get his haircut, and I had another guy that was actually a barber in the shop that I used to work in Critique Designs in St. Louis, Missouri, off of West Florissant and 270. And the one brother that was a barber there, he was part of I guess it's the first infantry in tanks. So they basically they cleared the road or whatever for everybody else to come behind them. And he was in charge of the 50 cal. He liked that and everything. Actually, I knew two brothers like that. I'm talking about two different people. One is a client, the other one is a barber, but both of them are good friends. They're good brothers. And the one guy that was the barber, he was explaining to me. He was like, they just riding along. And you hear it, but you can't really see where it's coming from. And when you're going through areas where it's like mountains, if they shooting down on you, you know, eventually you're gonna get hit. Can't really take cover because you got to manage your posts and find out where they at because they got the same objective as yours, which is to kill the enemy, right? He say next thing you know, he got hit. Now he got a honorary discharge. He come back home, but because of this whole situation, he you know PTSD big time. And when I say big time, big time. Sometimes before he actually came in the shop, he sat in his truck, to get his mind right, get his thoughts together and everything. And we talked about it a couple of times, and I was like, damn, I didn't know it was that deep. But as I'm saying it about him, Dion, you do remember you got shot as well, and they was looking at you like, sir, you need help. Same thing with the other brother. He didn't get shot, but you can see it at certain points. He would literally, when he come in the shop, he count exits. He's counting if anything were to go wrong in here, what could he use? Because he don't have his gun. Like, and I'm like, bro, all that's going through your head right now? He's like, yeah, man. He said, I ain't trying to. Because I used to be like, bro, why you want to sit down? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to sit down? And this is why. He didn't know he was even doing it.
Black
Like,
awareness.
it was crazy, man. And like you say, you never know what the next man might be going through, especially our brothers. You never know what's on their mind. You never know what things they deal with at the home front. Like, you can go from being the man in the field, but come home and, excuse me, you come home and be less of a man in your own home front, your own kingdom. If that ain't a trigger within itself,
Ooh, damn.
you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy. How you not the man in your own home front when you're already protected and served for your country, for your nation? You come home and you ain't shit, and you don't do this, and you don't do that, and the other night you stayed out, he was drinking, but I mean, he trying to. This is part of his coping and dealing with what he's been going through and trying to eradicate or do away with some of these memories and these thoughts, and you ain't even loved in your own home front.
Yeah. Goes back to what I was saying. What do you do? Like, he wasn't like this when you got him. Not all the way like this. And
Facts.
this is hitting home, man. This is hitting home. I've dealt with my PTSD for oh wow, it's been over a decade now, and I did not know I had it. It took a friend of mine that I trusted. I trusted him, and he told me, and I resisted. I resisted it hard. In fact, No, so no. I'm forgetting something. I've been told before by my crew. They said that they had it, and I was like, "Yo, that's y'all, man. I ain't got it. I'm good. They don't owe me nothing."
Hey, John, what you say? He said, bro, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm
Yeah,
straight, bro. I'm
I,
solid.
yeah. Nah, man, that can't be me. I'm not doing what y'all do. That manifested, bro. They wasn't like it manifested differently, and I'll come clean, man. It was. I'm the supply guy. I'm not supposed to be caught up in nothing. My job, even though I'm over there, is supposed to be smooth. I'm not infantry. I'm not supposed to be out there. I mean, anything can happen, but it was this one event. It was this one event. We were in Bakuba, Iraq, and we had already lost some guys. In fact, we're coming up on our anniversary right now. We had already lost some guys, and it's real interesting because I'm a supply guy, and I love these guys. I've spent so much time with them. You just develop that bond, and so I didn't want them to go out there without the proper man. It's like, yo, I could do something. I don't have to stay back here. And I went out there like with a little bit because we were losing guys. I went out there with a little bit of anger, and a lot of people were angry because we were losing guys. I went there, got caught up in this situation. It was an emergency situation, and I was in the 50 cap. I remember we parked in this alleyway, and I was supposed to pick the alleyway, just keep anybody from coming in. And I saw this guy who was walking, Muslim guy, Iraqi, and he had on, I couldn't see anything clearly. And I'm like, yo, go back. And he's coming. Women behind him are saying, yo, come back, in their language. And he kept walking, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to shoot a warning shot. I aimed in direction, and it ricocheted off and it hit his hand, and he just fell. And I remember thinking, oh, shit. Mind you, before that happened, there was an explosion. We approached that scene, and there was an explosion, and I just seen all this smoke and all this fire, and I've never seen anything like that before. Right? This is young John. I'm in my early 20s. I see this vehicle coming out, and I'm like, oh shit! It's a second V bed. So I'm like, all right, let me shoot at the tires. And my VC, my vehicle commander, was like, John, stop shooting. He's like, yo, come down. You killed that guy. And I'm like, what? He was like, don't worry about it. He just drove. I didn't. Because I saw where I was shooting. He was like, no, John, I saw where you were shooting. And so, my LT comes back. He was proud of me. Because he was like, yo, that could have been a V bed. You did right that. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so we had, situations over. We go back, and everyone hears, that I got my first kid, and it felt good at the time. But then, like,
when reality set in,
yeah. So with that, I dealt with the guilt of that for a long time, man. Just like, yo, nah, none of that could have been right. And then, start to understand more about casualties of war. You start to understand that complexity of these situations and how it's not so clear, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't get rid of the fact that all of that happened, and I had to sit with it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was just slowly creeping up on me. I blinked. It's like, how the fuck did I get here? How did I get to the point where I wasn't dreaming anymore? And then dreaming again, always nightmares. How did I get to that point? How did I get to the point where I'm taking ecstasy pills to cope? How did I get to the point where I'm drinking excessively and I'm smoking weed way more than I've ever smoked before. How did I get to that point? And it just kept going and going and going and going. Dealing with that, and my homeboys was telling me, I'm like, nah, man, that's y'all. I got my shit under control. I'm going to work and get this bread. And my ex-wife, we get a divorce. I'm not the same guy, and she knew it, and I couldn't tolerate that, right? And so, looking at it in retrospect, it's like, yo, it manifests differently. I didn't have the symptom of getting hyper aroused to the point where I wanted to hit her. But there are black men out there that get hyper aroused. They beat their women, and it's uncontrollable. And people just don't do it. And I did that to my homies. I did that to them. Like, yo, just don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Not taking into consideration that they really couldn't help what they were doing, and that they did eventually get treatment, but it wasn't the women that told them to do it. Somebody else in the circle that told them to do it. Somebody else they trusted. And so that's what it takes. It takes a trusted relationship for a black man to get help. Who does a black man truly trust? At any given time. You're supposed, ideally, you have a brotherhood. And it's supposed to be brotherly love in this brotherhood.
Facts.
You're supposed to have your family. It's supposed to be that family love. Facts. And then you got folks in your community. You got your pastors. You got your colleagues. Trusted relationships that, hey, yo, something is not right, yo. Listen to me when I say you were like this, and now you're like this. You got to explain that to me. And a lot of the times, we don't get help until we hit rock bottom. That is a stubborn. We just grinding. This is what resilience looks like. No, that's not resilience. Resilience is the bounce back. Like, nigga, you fail, you got back up. You hit the wall, you adjusted. That's resilience. You took a punch, you shook it off, you kept going. You bounce back. That's resilience. We're not even talking about resilience here. This is you running the vehicle down.
Overheat, everything, yeah.
Yeah. Check engine light on, car telling you, yo, something's wrong. You're just like, I'll fix it later. You ain't got to fix it. You know? So, yeah, and then these coping mechanisms, man.
I became alcoholic.
It became alcoholic.
John, after I got shot, my tolerance level went through the roof. My tolerance level went through the roof, man. Like, so many things I was tripping off of. like it took a little minute to register, but one day I looked at the pictures of the vehicle, because I took pictures of my car. This is when I got shot. Took pictures of my car. The last shot they let off hit the door frame. And when it hit the door frame, the bullet got stuck. It didn't go through. It got stuck. Now, if you ever seen aluminum Z34, where the door frame is, if I just leaning over the steering wheel like this, where the bullet was coming in, it was aimed at my head. And I'm just like, man, I could have been killed. That could have been it. It's over with. You're done. You're out there. The killer part was the police officer, like, every other bullet went through the car. It entered one side, went out the other side. Matter of fact, the young lady that was with me at the time, two bullets went through her seat, but I pushed her down on the ground, like not on the ground, but the floor of the car. I pushed her down on the floor of the car. But when I say them bullets was just turned through the door, knocking glass ever. You ever seen the updated version of Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx? Okay, remember they had that scene where they was finna make the drug deal with these Russians, not with Jamie Foxx and them, but it was with these Russians, and they pulled up in this Chrysler 300. They was supposed to be in DEA or whatever the case was, and the Russian asked them. He said, "Yeah, how long you been a DEA?" They said, "Hurry up," and went back to the car. And dude was shooting through that car with that 50 cal, and I promise you, the way that's, I mean, it's I'm not trying to make it like glorified or like, yo, I was in the trenches. I'm not saying that. When them bullets was hitting the quarter panel window, and my driver door window, it was like somebody took a big bucket of glass and just threw it through the car. Like I'm seeing glass just fly over everything. So I don't have nothing. Literally, the window is fully exposed. Then on top of that, like I say, for that last shot to stop in the door frame and not hit me in the head, that's when my drinking started beginning. After that, everything started. I just started to spiral from there. It was like shit. I ain't really. I mean, I'm her. You know what I'm saying? And with the mentality I'm her, I was knocking out fifths of NJ, fifths of any. It was times that I get so messed up. I would go back to old apartments that I used to have. I wouldn't go into the apartment or try to get into the apartment, but I ended up going to sleep outside other apartments from being drunk, heavily intoxicated, and constantly fighting. You know, just constantly fighting in life. Period, man. And you're not having nobody really to turn to, and then the people that's supposed to love you and care about you, supposed to support you and help you, you the enemy now.
Mm-hmm.
You low key the enemy, even within family. You the enemy. We don't want you around her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even when I thought that I would get approval from the family to turn to the church and be like, I'm just tired of being outside. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of being outside and need help. Even in that point, it still looked at like, what you doing here? So now I have a stigma that's following me. I'm already a statistic, but now I have a stigma within the family that I ain't supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? And you know what that do, John? Now I'm at 2 bottles a night.
Damn.
Oh yeah, real talk. Cause when when I made it to the hospital that day from being shot, the lady told me when I was in the trauma unit, she said it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. She was trying to keep me calm. Then I heard somebody tell him call the chaplain. Then I had this lady show up and I'm all white and everything. I just want to pray with you and I'm gonna pray for you and you're gonna hopefully you pull through this. And I'm like, what you mean I'm pull through this? It's just a little, you know, I was bleeding out too fast. So they had to hurry up and pack the wound to stop me from bleeding out. But they asked me, was I still in pain? I'm like, yeah, this shit hurt, but I still couldn't raise my arm. This was numb. It wouldn't do nothing. And the lady said, we can't give you any more, otherwise we'll stop your heart. So you can't get any more morphine, you stop your heart. But from that point on, my tolerance level, man, I can like a fifth back, no problem. No problem. That shit that was crazy, man. Like that was just crazy. And then like I say, from that point on, I just really started to focus in on a lot of stuff that had been going on in my life, from relationships, to trying to be a father, starting out early. Well, I ain't gonna say early for me. I didn't start drinking till I was 21, and I was drinking because that's what's outside. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a smoker because I couldn't smoke for save my life. I couldn't smoke. I'm gonna die just from smoking. But that whole situation with alcohol, man, I throw a bottle back by myself, no problem. And like I said, like what we talking about, what we going through. for this month, for this is national awareness for mental health. When you look back over it, it's just like you said. Who do you turn to when you're rejected by everybody? You're rejected within your relationships. You're rejected within family. You rejected within the church, because sometimes the church may look at what you're doing as a stunt. Like you don't really need help for real. You'll be all right. It ain't really like happening like that for you per se, because you grew up in the church. So they still see you as the youngster. You know what I'm saying? The kid in the Bible study and whatnot, not knowing that hey, you going through stuff outside. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
and it's sad, but it go right back to what you say. Like, who do you turn to? Was it a 1-800 number for me then? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to know? Lack of resources, lack of education, lack of information. I don't have any of that.
Mm.
So it was crazy.
Mm. Well, hey, folks, we're on an hour and 21 minutes of today's episode. We're going to pinch it here, and we're going to continue the next week. We'll kind of re-SD, and then we'll cross over into some of the other mental health disorders. But ultimately, this podcast for 2 weeks is to really encourage Black men to evaluate their mental health. Right? There's a lot of work to be done in terms of giving families, Black families, the awareness and also the resources and the skills to respond and manage mental illness, detection of the signs, right? Nurturing your, of course, a lot of people of color are already disadvantaged with not having the wisdom, the experience, the access. That's not to say that there are no resources out there for people of color. It's just there's barriers, there's a resistance. And mental health is not a priority in the United States at this time. But if we ever make it to that point where we start divest from, let's say, our military budget and start investing more into mental health for America, you would alleviate a lot of these social ills. But we'll say that for another conversation. I just want to remind guys out there, families, friends, colleagues, everyone out there, Black men could be a that's ready to explode when we don't address what we inside, when we don't validate our feelings, when we don't validate our own experiences. And we may opt to live a life of mediocrity. We might even live it passively. So, obvious answer here is to make an appointment with a therapist. If you can't do that, blackmen.org or blackmenheal.org. Blackmenheal.org. They are super legit. Connect you to a therapist. They can give you resources. We do have resources out there, gentlemen. But unfortunately, a lot of us aren't really paying attention to it. And we've discussed those issues. We've discussed some of those influences. We're going to talk about it some more. Given the technical difficulties, I think we still have something here today. But I just want to remind Black men out there, let's do this. Let's make this the trend. Let's make this the vibe. Let's make this. We can't complain anymore. We can't complain anymore. The resources are out there. We really got to reach for them. We really reach for them, and it's understandable. There's a lot of forgiveness, and maybe I shouldn't say forgiveness. There's a lot of flexibility given our circumstances of not being cultivated, socialized to take care of ourselves. Yes, push talk therapy. We don't want this. We already have difficulty expressing ourselves, so talk therapy is the way to go. So I just want to end off by saying mental health is wealth too. Mental health is wealth. What you got, bro?
Facts. Mental health is wealth. Mental health is well. For those that I don't know, I want to say, even if you don't know you're going through something, you don't know different changes in your behavior. Please take the time out to maybe ask somebody. Hey, have I been acting different lately? Have you been noticing something different about me? Something that you feel like is unsafe, something that's not really becoming of me, and see if you can get a outwardly look of what's going on with you. Because sometimes we be so stuck in our own ways, habits, and ritualistic practices that we don't understand that our behavior has changed dramatically, and we don't see the signs. So it's okay to be vulnerable and allow someone else to help you. Seek help. It's real. And like you said, we will be chiming in next week again to do a part two of this mental health for for Black men, and then I think the third and fourth week we would do mental health for women. And once
Yeah.
again, appreciate everybody for chiming in. I am King Newborn. You can find me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. John.
At Master John Skywalker. That is my Instagram, folks. Um, I have albums that are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms. Um, Our Dimensions, and Light Bearers. Those are the names. Look for John Skywalker, y'all. Look for John Skywalker. If y'all like that positive type of hip hop, that conscious, that real lyricism, I'm your guy. I'm your man. Peace, positivity, good bars, heavy bars, light bars. That's what I'm bringing to you guys. Just go stream that, plug into that. This is things that people don't want to talk about. We will see you guys next week. God bless. Love.
Peace, peace, peace.